Etorri means to come. In this video, we'll compare the present tense finite and periphrastic conjugations of this common verb, and we'll explore some more uses of etorri. Hi, I'm Shanna, and this is Basque Berserk. In this video, I have shamelessly plagiarized myself in my Johan video, and will continue to do so. Etorri can be formed with finite conjugations, meaning it uses a single word for each conjugation. For etorri, this generally indicates the simple present tense, which is what is happening now. So you can translate this as is coming. To form present tense finite etorri, you drop the e prefix and the I suffix, along with the extra r, which leaves us with the root, tor, in black. Then personal prefixes are added, in red, which are used with present tense intransitive verbs to indicate the subject. The green pluralizer suffix z, indicating the morphologically plural forms, replaces the final r. Now, these forms don't look quite right, but since most of the time we remove the prefix to find the root, a root that starts with a consonant, like t in tor, has an intervening a fixed between the personal prefixes and the root. You know, because it sounds better. In for I, ni nator, I am coming. D for he, she, it, ura dator, he, she, it is coming. G for we, gu gatos, we are coming. Z for you, susatos, you are coming. Z for you all, plus an extra te at the end, susatoste, you all are coming. D for they, ayak datos, they are coming. Etorri is also used periphrastically, with the intransitive form of the verb isan acting as a second verb, or the auxiliary. This usually indicates the present habitual tense for etorri, which means it may happen regularly, but not right now. When you use the English forms come or comes instead of is coming, you are using the present habitual tense. The habitual tense form drops the final ri and adds tzen to form etortsen. Then it adds the finite conjugation of intransitive isan as an auxiliary. Ni etortsen nais, I come. Ura etortsen da, he, she, it comes. Gu etortsen gara, we come. Su etortsen sara, you come. Suek etortsen sarete, you all come. Ayak etortsen dira, they come. The lines between these two present tenses can sometimes blur. While normally employed for is coming, you may see the finite conjugations used when you would otherwise say come or comes, and vice versa. But the two distinctions I explained previously are the general rules you should follow as a beginner. Here are some examples for the simple present finite forms. Eccetic nator, I'm coming from home. Pejo dendatic dator, Pejo is coming from the store. Festetatic gatos, we are coming from the parties. Liburu tegitik satos, you are coming from the library. Lanetik satoste, you all are coming from work. Euskal herritik datos, they are coming from the Basque country. The nouns here all have tik, etik, or etatik attached to them. This is the ablative case and is frequently used with etorri to say coming from some place or thing. While you can say you're coming from a person or living thing, these use slightly different case formations. Here's a taste. Amarengandik nator, I am coming from mother. Sure alavengandik satos, you are coming from your daughters. Nagusiaren baitatik dator, he is coming from the boss. Sadiren baitatik gatos, we are coming from the horses. Here are examples using the periphrastic habitual tense. Goisean eccetic etortsen nais, in the morning I come from home. Normalean pejo dendatik etortsen da, Pejo normally comes from the store. Igandeetan festetatik etortsen gara, we come from the parties on Sundays. Posiksalenean liburu tegitik etortsen sara, when you are happy, you come from the library. Goislanetik etortsen sarete, you all come from work early. Ulasken bakwetsean euskal herritik etortzen dira. Every fall they come from the Basque country. Here's some information about etori and the particle ba. You can have one-word sentences that are formations of etori, such as I am coming, but the particle ba has to precede this form. Finite verbs cannot exist as the sole word in a sentence or clause, so ba fixes this. Banator, I am coming. Badator, he, she, it is coming. Bagatos, we are coming. Basatos, you are coming. Basatoste, you all are coming. Badatos, they are coming. They don't have to be one-word sentences, though. The particle ba is attached to the verb when the verb itself is the stressed information in the sentence, or the focus. Remember, it's only attached to the finite form, though. It also doesn't exist in a negative sentence. Ser gertatsenarida? What is happening? Banator echetik. I'm coming from home. Ser gitenarida peyo? What is Peyo doing? Peyo badator dendatik. Peyo is coming from the store. Festetara soaste? Are you going to the parties? Bagatos festetatik. We're coming from the parties. Ser liburu tegias? What about the library? Andik basatos. You are coming from there. Ser gingodugu gaur gawean? What are we doing tonight? Lanetik basatoste. You all are coming from work. Eos galearis badakite? Do they know about the Basque Country? Eos galearitik badatos. They are coming from the Basque Country. To form the negative of etori, simply put the word es in front of the synthetic verb, either in the finite or periphrastic conjugations. Es nator, I'm not coming. Peyo es dator dendatik. Peyo is not coming from the store. Es gara etortzen festetatik. We aren't coming from the parties. Liburu tegitik et sara etortzen. You don't come from the library. Gaur etzatos te lanitik. You all are not coming from work today. Estira etortzen. They don't come. If the ba particle means if, then es and ba can coexist, and this means if not. Es banais etortzen, if I don't come. Here are some other ways you might see etori used. To originate. Ibaya menditik etortzen da. The river comes from the mountain. To suit or become, using a crazy dative form. Sure aropa ongi datorkisu. Your clothing becomes you or suits you well. To get used to. Egoera onetara nator. I am getting used to this situation. To come to or come to be. Persona yatora isatera etori sara. You have come to be a nice person. You use the third person finite form to create an adjective. Datoren urtea arte. Until the coming year, until next year. Here are some phrases. Ongi etori. Welcome, literally welcome. Datoren datore la. Whatever comes. Come what may. Etori beria, newcomer. And several Basque words are derived from etori. Etorkin, immigrant. Etorkisun, future. Etorbide, avenue. And there's the verbal noun, etortzea, the coming. That's all I have for you on the present forms and usages of etori. Thanks for watching. Agur!